Hello everybody, it is Cheapo time again in the Cheapo Nation. Hey, today we're looking at the HONEYTEK HK78C. Here we go. HONEYTEK shipped via Amazon for a whopping $27 Canadian, about 24 US, definitely in the cheapo zone. HK78C from HONEYTEK, yes, it has that nice orange look, kind of that Quayside orange. Maybe not quite so orange, but yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. These kind of colorized boots work for me, especially if you're in the shop or in an industrial environment. Definitely a lot easier to see your meter. Ships in a really good looking box, I must say. Tells you right now that this is an auto-ranging AC/DC multimeter, true RMS, and guess what? It has an analog bar graph display. Yeah, always a bonus. Alrighty, fun time. What do you get in the box? That's a really good question. First of all, you get this really nice case, and you know what? It is always preferred when you get a case. Not a lot of padding in this one, to be quite honest, but that being said, it is a case nonetheless, and you can keep all of the extras in it. As well, you get quite an assortment of, oh wow, a screwdriver, a Phillips screwdriver. Hey, this seems to be one of the gimmicks they're doing these days, giving you tools with your meters. You know, hey, not bad. Generic, no-name OEM brand. I also get a thermocouple because, yes, it does do temperature, and it does it both Celsius and Fahrenheit. Ooh, God, I love it when they do both those temperature grade scales because, you know what? That's important. Test leads as well. What do we have here? Good size set of test leads. It's like a standard pair. Take them out of the bag, shall we? Oh yeah, those are nice full-size leads. Pretty decent feel all around. They have a 10 amp max rating on them. The CE logo. Cat 3 1000 volts, Cat 4 600 volts. We have that protector as well. Let's just take that off if we can. Oh, that's sitting there really tight. Yeah. Really? Oh. I had to end up using these pliers to get that cap off. Wow, crazy. Anyway, that's done, and oh, Jesus, that is sharp. Whew. Okay. Sorry, religious moment there. Yeah, so nice and sharp. Really sharp. Wow, you know what? That is probably one of the sharpest test leads I have ever encountered. You could draw blood with this quite easily, next to those Probe Masters. Yeah, and the length, nice and long. Good thick gauge wiring as well. Hey, you know what? All in all, I'm pretty impressed with these leads. It's not PVC, but still, I'm sorry, it's not silicone, but still pretty good grade altogether. Should be interesting. Pretty decent shrouding as well on the end of these, nice and long. Overall, first impressions really good. How do they fit in the meter? Good question. Well, let's just try. And oh yeah, nice and tight, nice and tight. Beauty. Also get a set of crocodile clips as well. Another bonus. I mean, these little things all add up, right? So when you get it all for one, much better on the pocketbook. Pretty decent, actually. Let's take a look. Oh yeah. Have a 1000 volt max rating on them as well. And oh, nice, good friction here. I like it. Not a rubbery, cheap plastic. Kind of reminiscent of the Fluke style croc leads, really. Very good quality. So, another bonus. Very nice. Finally, you get that user manual as well. HK78 series digital multimeter manual. And looks like it's going through all the basics. What you have, spec-wise, what have you. Looks good. As I mentioned, this retailed for $27 Canadian on Amazon, around 23, 24 US dollars. Now, one thing about Amazon, prices change like I change my socks, and we're talking at least 3 times a day. So prices do vary a lot. They fluctuate like crazy on Amazon. So what's 27 one day perhaps might be 35 the next, or 22 the following. So you just take that price with a grain of salt, but definitely in the cheapo realm. Pretty decent boot all around. Fit and finish is really good. Yeah, to critique, perhaps, I would say this holster boot, whatever you want to call it, not as nice as that Lomvum I reviewed not too long ago. In fact, here it is right now. Definitely a little more orange, the Lomvum, but a nicer boot on this one. Just feels more supple in the hand. And as well, yeah, look at that. You got that magnet with the Lomvum, which is lacking, sadly, from the HONEYTEK. So, yeah. This is a non-auto-ranging multimeter, but that being said, that selector switch, nice clackety-clack, good solid switching with authority. I really like it. It's not going to get stuck between ranges. Really nice feel. And let's not forget that tilt stand comes up really solid, and it's definitely a one-handed meter. No worries here. Great. Starting off at the 12 o'clock or off position. Low Z voltage, AC DC. Volts DC, up to 1000 volts. AC volts, including VFC mode, up to 750 volts. High current amps, AC, up to 10 amps. High current amps, DC, up to 10 amps. Square wave output. Frequency, up to 10 megahertz. Capacitance mode, up to 60 millifarad. Temperature, in both Celsius and Fahrenheit. Diode and continuity. Resistance, up to 60 mega ohm. Non-contact voltage, including live detect. At the top of the meter, we have 3 soft touch buttons, our function or select switch on the left. In the middle, we have our rel and flashlight. Finally, on the far right, we have our hold, as well as the backlight. Bottom of the meter, we have our high current input. In the middle, our microamp/milliamp. Beside that, we have our frequency, square wave output, temperature, capacitance, voltage, resistance, and diode. Finally, on the far right, we have our common or ground. All in all, you can see this is a pretty feature-packed, non-auto-ranging meter. Definitely has a lot of bang for the proverbial buck. But is it any good? Let's take a look. As Gerard Depardieu once said, cooking is not difficult. And it isn't, and I really don't know what that has to do with this review. Sorry. Alrighty, let's turn on the meter, shall we? Boom. Bam. There it goes. Looking good. Hey. Pretty decent looking font set. Nothing too big, bold. Yeah, I like. Now let's try out that backlight. Hold down for a little bit. Oh, nice and clear. Good contrast. Okay, so that display, although it's perhaps, nothing overly exciting, not a lot of bleeding. If you look at the left side of the display where those LEDs are illuminating, slightly illuminated. Oh, wow. And there we go. That is the problem. As we see far too many times on multimeters, the backlight just doesn't last very long, about 15-20 seconds. Anyway, overall, looks pretty decent. Yeah, it doesn't matter what angle we're looking at it. Easy on the eyes. Handles glare pretty well. Looking good. That common or ground input is really, I don't like it. It's on the far right. Normally it is recessed like so. So a little bit non-standard. Could be a safety issue perhaps. Yeah, I wish it was where it normally is. Something else I don't like that I just realized as well is the test probes themselves. You can see there is no indicator for positive or negative. So if you're working in the dark or what have you, in the thick and thin of things, it can be dangerous again. Really prefer when those test leads have some sort of an indicator for the positive or negative, like so. Yeah, it just makes things safer. 249.9, 250 is what we wanted. Oh, so close. Looking good. Let's try 2.50 now. Gotta switch it because it is non-auto ranging. 2.501. Hey, beauty. Quick DC Voltage Showdown. On the left, we have our calibrated Keysight 1282A. In the middle, to start the show, the HONEYTEK HK78C. And on the right, the recently reviewed Lomvum T28C, sitting at 0.35 of a volt right now. And look at that, we have total control. Yes, everybody's in agreement. Awesome. Taking it up and away. 1.38 volts. 1.38 for the Keysight, 1.38 for the HONEYTEK. 1.39 for the Lomvum. Yes. Up and away now. 5.79 volts according to the power supply. 5.79 for the Keysight. 5.79 for the HONEYTEK. 5.8 for the Lomvum. Okay, take it higher, shall we? 12.05 volts for the power supply. 12.05 for the Keysight. 12.06 and 12.08. Oh, so close. Here we are now. We're going to max it out. 31.0 volts. 31.0 for the Keysight. 31.1 for the HONEYTEK. And 31.1 for the Lomvum. Wow. Hey, oh, so close. Yeah, look at that. Oh, now Mr. Keysight has agreed. 31.10. 31.113. You know what? I'm going to call this pretty well a draw. Maybe the Lomvum was the lone wolf, a little on the laggy behind side, but that being said, they're all pretty darn accurate. Let's take a look at that bar graph right now. Both the Keysight and the HONEYTEK have that nice, beautiful bar graph sitting at 15 volts. I'm just going to cycle it back and forth a little bit and see how they are in terms of speed. And you know what? Looks to me like that HONEYTEK is keeping up pretty well with the Keysight. The sampling rate on the HONEYTEK is stated as 2 seconds, 2 times per second rather, but no mention of that bar graph. But you know what? It is pretty darn fast here. So I'm liking what I see. Definitely usable. Great stuff. So we have some bad news in the milliamp department. It doesn't work. Yeah, you heard me correctly. Unfortunately, the HONEYTEK HK78C is totally messed up in milliamp mode. Now, at first, I went ahead, checked the fuse, and yeah, it was blown no good. And you know what? No fault of mine. Believe you me, I made sure I was at 100 milliamps. This is rated for 600. Well, guess what? I pulled the fuse, and it has a 500 milliamp rating. Well, hey, that's not good, but that wasn't the problem. I put in a brand new fuse, made sure it was set to 190 milliamps, and hey, guess what? No can do. So, yeah, big fail. And the low current department for Mr. HONEYTEK, too bad. I'm going to take it out of the milliamp input right now and put it into the 10 amp input. And I'm going to switch it from 600 to the 10 amp high current mode, and now we're getting our milliamps 190. But yeah, something definitely messed up on the HONEYTEK. Too bad. Anyway, sitting at 190 milliamps. Let's see how we are in high current mode. We're gonna bring it right up to 10 amps. Sorry, high current. You can see we're getting a high current alarm, and that's when we cross the 10 amp threshold. There you go. So sitting at 10 amps right now with that high current alarm. Looks good. I did verify that is a 10 amp 500 volt fuse. Yeah, so all is good in the high current department, but in the milliamp mode, no can do. By the way, these are 5x30 ceramic fuses that it ships with. Easy to come by, but yeah, so let's just take it off here. You can hear that power supply fan kicking in now. So no worries with the high current mode. There you go. 120 volts, looking good. AC. Now we can also get the duty cycle, but we're gonna have to play with it. There's no simple mode. So let's unplug it from our voltage source and put it into our frequency mode and plug it back in. Let's check out that frequency and duty cycle. All right, so here we go, and the unit just powered off. Fantastic. Turn it back on. 60 hertz. Alrighty, hit the function switch, and there is our 50% duty cycle. All looks good except for that random shutdown. Right now we are in live mode, and basically that is trying to find a live circuit, and you simply take your positive test lead and insert it into the plugs, and it will let you know, or should let you know, via the audible alarm as well as the visual indicator that you've got a live circuit. You can see it's working here perfectly. We have that really nice flashing display, and we're getting a signal output as well that there is juice in this line. So a handy feature. different than NCV. But altogether it works pretty good. Speaking of NCV, let's take a look at that as well. That is a no probe functionality, and we are in NCV mode right now. So you can see the difference right here. No probing required. It's basically looking for any sort of high energy flow, and you can tell we are getting it. And we get that really nice visual cue as well. That really good looking flashing LED. And we're getting the signage as well here, giving us the strength. Right now we're at 4 bars, so yeah, lots of contact here. Works really well. Interested to see what we're going to have for a NCV detection inside. Cool. Let's see how fast this is to range. Sitting at 1 mega ohm. Let's go up to 3 mega ohm. Not too shabby. 6 mega ohm. Looking good. Back to 3. And 1 mega ohm. Oh, definitely not too bad there. Let's try 110K. 111. Back to 100K. Yeah, so it is a little on the slow side, but once again, hey, perfectly acceptable. I had the RICHMETERS RM406B out the other day, and you know, I just forgot how good this meter is with resistance. Look at that, sitting at 1 mega ohm right now, bringing it up to 3 mega ohm. I mean, 6 mega ohm. This thing is like lightning fast. Back to 3, back to 1, 110K, 111K, 100K, 300. I mean, it's not a review for the RM406B, but wow, it was just refreshing to, yeah, it's always nice to go back in time. Sorry, RICHMETERS, you had your time. This is mine. Next up, it's LED mode. Now, when you're in LED mode, you want to make sure you put it on the appropriate setting. So just by turning that selector to the diode / continuity function doesn't mean you're in LED mode or diode mode. So you got to hit the function switch twice, and that will get you into diode mode. You see that little diode symbol at the top? Okay, here we go. Without further ado, we are now in diode mode, starting off with the green LED. It is lit with a forward voltage drop. 1.8 volts, there we go. Yellow, yes, lit, and there's the forward voltage drop. Over to the red LED. We have illumination in the chip illumination, and we have a forward voltage drop. Onto the blue, yes! 4 for 4. Can we make it for 5? Survey says, yes, we do. 5 out of 5. Nicely lit. Forward voltage drop. Beauty. Good job, HONEYTEK. Diode output voltage, a very nice 3.2 volts. Alrighty, welcome to the wonderful world of continuity. My name's Darren, and I'm the star of the show. Well, actually, I'm not the star of the show. The star of the show is Mr. HONEYTEK right here. Don't be shy. Don't walk on by. Here we go. Continuity, baby. Oh, it's slow. Yeah. Super slow. It is latched fairly... Well, I'm not going to say it's loud. It's sufficient. But incredibly slow to latch. Oh, yeah. Painful. Let's try those Probe Masters. Probe Masters. Here we go. Definitely quicker to latch. Oh, yeah. Oh, what a difference a probe makes. Beauty. Good stuff. 75.3 dBA, the maximum output volume in continuity. Capacitance is next. Now this does have a 60 millifarad threshold. Yeah, so when you're in capacitance mode, you suddenly have an auto-ranging meter. Yes, just put it into your millifarad range and you're ready for action. Okay, here we go. This is a 47 millifarad, 47,000 microfarad capacitor. Let's see how it does. It is thinking. Now it's in millifarad mode. And there we go. Hey, 43.56, definitely within spec for this particular capacitor. And that, you know what, was quite fast. So all in all, good stuff. Now I did try a 100 millifarad. No can do, unfortunately, but at least it is true to the rating of 60 millifarad. Let's try the opposite end of the spectrum. Here's a 3.3 microfarad. Yeah, a little on the slow side, but no worries there. And here we have a 100 microfarad. 102. So a tiny bit slow, really on the slow end of the capacitance range, but all in all, looking good. We're in temperature mode right now, and you can see we're sitting at 21 degrees in the lab, and that is Celsius, of course. Now we can switch by hitting the function mode to Fahrenheit. A balmy 69 degrees Fahrenheit. So nice to have that dual temperature mode. Now this is ambient, so we're not using that temperature probe. If we wanted the temperature probe, simply take it and we insert it, come ça, into the meter. And there you go. Slight variance now, it's picking up 64, 63, so not quite as warm with the probe. Certain factors that all come into play, but yeah, now if I just touch that probe with my fingers, you can see it's going to start to heat up. Oh yes, this is a hot channel, folks. Look at that. Yeah. Cool. So there you go. Temperature, dual, Celsius and Fahrenheit. Beauty. Next. Meter also ships with the low Z or low impedance mode. This is a pretty neat little feature. Seeing it more often in the cheapo realm. Basically what it is it helps you discern against ghost voltages. For instance, you could have two sets of mains side by side. One can be live at 120 volts, the other might be dead, but because the proximity is so close to the live mains, you can actually have some voltage showing up with your multimeter. By simply putting your low Z mode function into action, that will offset any stray voltage, so you will know whether or not that circuit is actually energized. It's a handy feature to have. Nice to see. Finally, the HONEYTEK ships with a square wave generator setting, puts out one square wave at 2 kilohertz. Yeah, not so bad. Maybe not the squarest of waves, but definitely there, and 2 kilohertz is indeed the output. Ships with an okay flashlight. Definitely not the brightest I've seen, but if it's pitch black, that will definitely give you a hand. Okie dokie Kanoki, teardown time it is. Let's start off by removing the battery casing. You can see we have a couple of AA batteries and a nice brass insert there. Always a good thing. All right, let's go underneath the hood. Okay, here we are taking a look at the inside, starting off with the reverse. Look at that. No shielding, no surprises, right? Okay, I'm not even going to go there this route. Whoa, look at this. This is definitely quite an interesting looking setup, I've got to say. Ooh, this is going to be fun. Let's take a look at those input jacks first. Hey, they're the split variety, but it's like a double split. Oh, better than Dairy Queen. Yeah, I like it. Nice big blobs of solder. Overall, good retention, and the back of the meter as well is keeping those jack inserts nice and snug, so no worries about those coming out anytime soon. All in all, hey, pretty good. That's a lot of pretties. On the far right, we have our 10 amp 500 volt fuse, ceramic. That is a 6x30 millimeter, commonly found, easy to source. On the left is that unfortunate milliamp dead zone here. That is the third fuse I had put in, and once again, just makes no difference. That is a really too bad scenario. Once again, the fuse that shipped with the unit was rated at 500 milliamps, not 600 as it clearly states on the front of the meter. So another big mistake as far as I'm concerned from HONEYTEK. Please ship these meters with the designated fuses. Now, instead of a current shunt, we have a current sensing resistor right here. And there we have a diode clamp. Look at that. So one lonely PTC right at the bottom here. That is on the voltage side as well. So in terms of input protection, not a whole heck of a lot going on. Keep this on the low side. Now moving up the board, man, this gets interesting. Look at this. I've never seen this. Whoa, they put this battery housing in a really weird and unusual place. That is literally in the middle of nowhere. Normally you're going to see this somewhere along here in the PCB, but they've decided to put it directly over the IC and another IC here. That is an LCD display driver. We'll get to that in a second, but look at what they've done. It's so weird. Why did they do it that way? Oh my goodness. And whoa, look at that NCV. Okay, hang on, back up a minute here. So for whatever reason, once again, this battery retention holder is right in the middle of a whole lot of stuff, and very weird. I mean, I can see obviously they have a look at that PCB. It just stops here. So they've implemented this housing, I guess, to go where no PCB has gone before. So for whatever reason, they have decided to put this battery in a very unusual and slightly awkward place. But yeah, well, it is what it is. Over here at the top right, this is the HONEYTEK HT1621. That is a RAM mapping 32x4 LCD controller. So, you know, for whatever reason, they have offboarded those LCD samplings and what have you from the main IC. Definitely, I guess that's going to improve performance. I didn't really think I'd see a separate LCD display driver in this multimeter, but... And on the left-hand side, we have our little EEPROM. That's the Atmel 24C02N. And that is holding and storing all of the good information for the main IC. And whoa, look at that NCV detection. I mean, I just about fell on the floor when I saw that. Look at that. Look at that. Incredible. It is a massive protruding antenna, definitely metal, soldered on to the tip of the PCB here, and that just goes right out. Wow, look at that. Oh my God. Could probably get Radio Moscow with this thing. Insane. Like, yeah. You know what? That's definitely an implementation of NCV I have not seen before, but, you know, I guess it works. Whoa. For the flashlight. And a nice oscillator there. We have a programmable header over here. Yeah, so, you know, quite a different looking PCB. You know what? Let's flip it on the other side and see if we have any more surprises. Alrighty, so with that battery housing removed, you can see there we have the contacts that make connection with those spring terminals here, feeding the 3 volts to the meter itself. Yeah, there's the long LED for the flashlight right there. Really interesting. Okay, let's just take this out now. Let's just give it the old flipperoo, flipperoo. And yeah, there we are. Whoa, a lot of tracks there. Over at the top here, we have the LCD connectivity for the main display. We have our temperature sensor. So I'm gonna put everything back together, come back with my closing thoughts. Closing thoughts on the HONEYTEK HK78C. Wow, you know, this was a hit and miss. Unfortunately, at the end of the day, it is mostly a mess. Yes, it's true a mess. It's in the cheapo zone, around 27 bucks. But at the end of the day, just too many things going south that really make it a no-go. In the positive department, at least it was accurate, definitely accurate and fast to range. Has dual temp, which is always a good thing. And you know what? Speaking of ranges, it has a lot of them. And that low Z can really come in handy. Hey, it comes with a case, crocodile clips. You know what I'm trying to say? You get a lot of bang for your buck. However, in the cons department, there was just too many. I had a lot of random shutdowns with this unit. In fact, you saw one of them during the review. There was a severe milliamp fail. I went through so many fuses, and I just did not have the time to troubleshoot it. And then again, it's a new meter, so why should I have to? Let's not forget about those milliamp ratings. When you're going to sell a meter and say it has a 600 milliamp max, you better fuse it with a 600 milliamp rated fuse. Not a heck of a lot going on in that input protection department either. Let's not forget that NCV. That was something. Wow. But unfortunately, too little, too late. The HONEYTEK HK78C gets a dismal 2 out of 5 stars. Hey, there's plenty better options in the cheapo realm. Hope you found this review entertaining, informative, and if you did, give me a thumbs up, give me a like, subscribe, you know the gist. Hey, good to see you again. And we're going to see you again real soon. I got a ton of meters coming up for reviews, clamp meters, multimeters, and everything in between. To the next one, keep on testing.